Seniors, before you take your next supplement, stop. Because there's one combination that doctors are calling a silent killer. It's slipped under the radar for years, and yet it's sitting in millions of medicine cabinets right now. If you or someone you love is taking these three together, even with the best intentions, you could be putting your heart, brain, or kidneys at serious risk. Today, we're going to uncover the hidden danger, and more importantly, show you how to fix it safely. Let's be honest. Most seniors today are doing their best to stay healthy. You walk, you watch what you eat, and you probably take a handful of supplements each day. A little vitamin D for your bones, some magnesium for sleep, maybe calcium, fish oil, or a multivitamin just to cover the bases. These aren't exotic or experimental. They're the basics. They're on your kitchen counter or bathroom shelf right now. And that's what makes this conversation so important. Because the danger we're talking about today doesn't come from some shady pill with fine print in a foreign language. It comes from the everyday combinations we trust, the ones that feel harmless because they're familiar. But when taken together, especially as we age, some of these supplements can quietly become a health hazard. You won't feel it overnight. It won't knock you off your feet like the flu or a fall. But it starts in the background, subtle changes in your energy, your balance, your digestion, even your heart rhythm. The kind of symptoms we chalk up to just getting older, when in fact, they could be signs of something far more preventable. Here's what most people don't realize. After 60, your body becomes more sensitive to what you put into it. Your kidneys and liver don't clear things quite as quickly, and the more supplements you take, the more those ingredients have to share space, competing for absorption, interfering with each other's function, or building up where they shouldn't. And that's just biology. Add in the fact that many supplements are megadosed, with more than double or triple the amount you need, and suddenly your well-meaning health routine might be doing more harm than good. One of the most common combos? Calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. They're sold together, marketed together. But when taken at the wrong time, in the wrong ratio, or in doses that don't match your current health status, they can cause a cascade of problems: blocked absorption, stomach upset, electrolyte imbalance, even irregular heartbeat or kidney strain. And the most frustrating part? Most seniors never hear this from their doctor, because supplements aren't prescriptions. They don't show up in the pharmacy system. And unless you bring it up, no one's checking for conflicts. But we are. In this video, we're going to walk through 3 specific combinations you should never take together and show you a smarter, safer, more effective way to support your health long-term. Because supplements shouldn't sabotage your efforts. They should support them. And that starts with knowing what not to mix. Let's start with the first and most misunderstood combination: calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. These 3 are sold together everywhere. You'll find them in multivitamins, bone health blends, and even single capsules claiming to strengthen bones, calm nerves, and boost immunity all at once. Sounds great, right? Well, not always. Individually, each of these nutrients plays a vital role. Calcium supports bone density. Magnesium helps with nerve function, muscle relaxation, and sleep. And vitamin D? It's the key that unlocks calcium absorption. So far, so good. But here's where it gets tricky. The moment you combine all 3 in a single dose, things can get out of balance fast, especially in older adults. Let's take calcium first. Your body can only absorb a limited amount at once, usually around 500 to 600 millimole. Anything more? It either goes unused or starts building up in places you don't want, like arteries or kidneys. Now, layer in magnesium. While it works with calcium in some systems, it also competes with it for absorption in the gut, meaning when you take both at the same time, you may be getting less of each than you think. Now enter vitamin D. It enhances calcium absorption, which sounds helpful, but it can also accelerate calcium deposits if you're getting too much calcium in the first place. That's why some seniors end up with issues like kidney stones, constipation, or even vascular calcification, while thinking they're just doing what's healthy. The problem isn't the nutrients, it's the timing, the dosage, and the blind stacking, because most supplement labels don't explain that calcium and magnesium are best taken at separate times to avoid absorption issues, or that taking high doses of calcium without adequate vitamin K2, which directs calcium to bones instead of soft tissues, can cause calcium to settle in the wrong places, or that if your diet already includes dairy, leafy greens, fortified cereals, or beverages, and you're also popping supplements, you may be getting way more than you need. And it doesn't help that most seniors don't get regular blood work to track vitamin D or calcium levels. So it's easy to be low on one, overloaded on another, and completely unaware until symptoms show up. That's why it's critical to stop thinking in terms of more is better. Start thinking in terms of synergy. Calcium and magnesium are best taken in smaller separate doses, ideally 6 to 8 hours apart. Vitamin D should be taken with a fat-containing meal for best absorption, and ideally under the guidance of recent blood work, not guesswork. When used strategically, these nutrients can work together beautifully. But when thrown together without context, that's where problems begin. So if you're currently taking a supplement that stacks calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D into a single pill or scoop, pause. Look at the label and keep watching, because we're just getting started. Now let's talk about a combination that many seniors take without a second thought, because on the surface, it seems like a smart move. Fish oil for heart health, Ginkgo biloba for brain support, aspirin to thin the blood and prevent strokes. Individually, these have benefits, but taken together, especially without medical guidance, they can quietly raise your risk of something much more serious: internal bleeding. Here's how it works. Fish oil is known for its omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, which help reduce inflammation and support cardiovascular health, but it also has a mild blood thinning effect. That's usually not a problem, unless it's combined with other blood thinners. Enter Ginkgo biloba. This herbal supplement is often marketed for improving memory and circulation, and while some research does show it may have cognitive benefits, Ginkgo also has antiplatelet properties. It slows down how your blood clots. That's a double hit with fish oil. And now, add aspirin. Low-dose aspirin is still commonly recommended for seniors with a history of heart issues or stroke, but aspirin too inhibits platelet function. So when you take aspirin plus Ginkgo plus fish oil, you're stacking 3 blood-thinning agents without realizing it. You might not feel the effects right away, but over time the signs start to show up: easy bruising, prolonged bleeding after small cuts, or nosebleeds that seem random. In more serious cases, internal bleeding can occur, especially in the stomach, brain, or urinary tract. And for seniors, those aren't just inconvenient. They can be life-threatening. What's worse is that most people don't think to mention supplements like Ginkgo to their doctor. After all, it's just a plant. But that's where the danger lies. Natural doesn't mean harmless, especially when your body is more vulnerable to interactions as you age. Now, this doesn't mean you need to throw out your fish oil or stop taking aspirin cold turkey. These compounds do have real health benefits for the right people in the right dosages. But when taken together, unsupervised, they can push the body too far in one direction. So, what's the smart move? First, if you're on aspirin or another blood thinner, talk to your doctor before adding anything like fish oil or Ginkgo. Second, space out supplements with known blood-thinning effects. And third, stay alert for subtle signs like bruises, dizziness, or slow wound healing. They could be telling you something your supplement label isn't, because the goal isn't to scare you away from supplements. It's to help you use them wisely, in a way that protects your health, not quietly undermines it. Up next, we'll tackle one more combination, this one hiding behind the promise of natural energy. But when mixed the wrong way, it could spell real trouble for your heart. Let's talk about energy. Almost every senior at some point says, "I just wish I had more energy." So it's no surprise that energy-boosting supplements have become wildly popular. And at the top of that list, vitamin B12, CoQ10, and green tea extract. All three sound natural. All three are found in countless senior vitality blends. But here's the twist. When you stack these together, especially without guidance, you may be overloading your body's engine in ways it wasn't built to handle. Let's start with B12. It's essential for nerve function, red blood cell formation, and energy metabolism. And yes, many older adults are deficient, especially those with absorption issues. But B12 is a stimulant-like vitamin when taken in large doses. It revs up neurological activity. That's why some people feel jittery or anxious after taking it, especially on an empty stomach. Now CoQ10. This one supports cellular energy production. Think of it as the fuel your mitochondria need to function. It's especially important for heart health and often prescribed alongside statins. But here's the thing. CoQ10 also enhances ATP production, which in combination with B12 can feel like too much gas in the tank. Now layer in green tea extract. Sounds harmless, right? But most people don't realize how potent these extracts are. One capsule can contain the caffeine equivalent of a full cup of coffee, or more. And caffeine, especially when paired with B12 and CoQ10, creates a triple stimulant effect that can overwhelm your system. The result? Spikes in blood pressure, irregular heartbeat, insomnia, headaches, even panic-like symptoms. And while a younger adult might shake it off, a senior with underlying heart conditions? That's a different story. Even worse, many of these so-called energy formulas don't list caffeine clearly on the label. You see words like green tea extract or EGCG and assume it's gentle. But in reality, you could be ingesting the equivalent of 2 cups of coffee on top of 2 metabolic stimulators without realizing it. So what's the fix? First, be cautious of supplements that combine multiple energizing ingredients. More isn't always better. If you're taking B12, make sure your dose matches your blood work, not just what a marketing label suggests. CoQ10 should be discussed with your doctor, especially if you're on heart medication. And green tea extract? Only in small amounts and never late in the day. Because when it comes to energy, the goal isn't to force your body into alertness. It's to support it gently, consistently, and in a way that protects your heart and nervous system. Coming up next, we'll tie all of this together. Not with fear, but with a smarter blueprint for how to supplement safely, effectively, and confidently as you age. Here's the truth. Supplements are not the enemy. In fact, the right ones, used at the right time, can be one of the most powerful tools you have to stay active, alert, and independent well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. But using them blindly, just because the label says supports healthy aging, can backfire, because your body changes with age. What worked at 40 may not work at 70, and what seems natural can still interfere with medications, compete with nutrients, or overwhelm systems that are more delicate than they once were. So here's your new blueprint. First, less is more and timing is everything. Don't stack calcium and magnesium in the same dose. Take them at different times of the day. Don't load up on blood thinners without understanding the combined effect, especially if you're already on aspirin or prescribed medications. And don't reach for that natural energy blend without reading what's actually inside it. Second, stop guessing. Start checking. If you're taking vitamin D or B12, get your levels tested. If you're on multiple supplements, bring the list to your doctor or pharmacist and ask specifically, are any of these working against each other? You deserve answers. Third, look for clean, focused formulations, not the mega mixes with 12 ingredients in one scoop. Choose one goal, one compound, one outcome, and build from there. Because the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live better, stronger, sharper, with full control of your body and your choices. That's the future you deserve, and it starts with getting smart about the smallest decisions. Now, before we wrap, ask yourself this. If these 3 supplement combos slipped under your radar, what else might be quietly undermining your health? That question we're going to answer in the next video, because it's not just supplements. There are 5 healthy habits that actually accelerate aging after 60. And once you spot them, you'll never look at your routine the same way again. We'll see you there.